Welcome to our Knowledge Nugget on things that you can do to support the business owner. Now, if any of you feel that you are just there to record some sales, pay a few bills, and push some numbers into books, well, guess again. Your job is one of the most important for any business. Think about it. Anything and everything of significance that happens at the business level relies on the numbers. This would include things like banking, setting up of loans or lines of credit, shareholders and owners that want to be kept up to date and up to speed on what's happening with the business, and investors who are looking to put money into the business. They all want to know the numbers. Year-end filings with government. They all require that every business files their year-end taxes, and that carries forward to include everything to do with government tax compliance. Everything relies on the numbers, and this is where you come in. The numbers need to be accurate, up to date, and defendable. You need to be at the top of your game to make sure that this is what's happening. So what can you do to support the business owner? Let's have a look. There are most definitely things that you as a bookkeeper can do to support the business owner. You've been hired on as a bookkeeper, so it's obviously about maintaining a set of books to take care of all of the facets of bookkeeping that go into the books. But there's more that you can do on a very dedicated basis to make sure that you're taking care of the business owner. Essentially, it comes down to keeping the business owner safe. They often don't have the time to deal with a lot of the things that you're dealing with on a daily basis, and as a result, they're relying on you to make sure that those things are covered and that they're informed of anything that they need to be informed of. What I'd like to do is go over 10 things that you can do to specifically help the business owner, to support them, and to make sure that everything stays on the rails, at least from your vantage point anyways. First of all, keep your postings current and up to date. This should be standard procedure for any bookkeeper that's doing a good job, but it's a matter of sometimes time being what it is that things may get pushed aside while you take care of other things, but regardless, you need to keep on top of the postings and on top of the books to make sure they're as current as possible at any given time. There's a lot of reasons for it, but long story short, this is one of the best things that you can do to help the business owners to make sure that that part of their business is being taken care of and that it's current. Set up and maintain your organization for ease of use. This is something that's going to help you as much as it is the owner, but regardless, it's an important facet of your support for the business owner. Make things easy for yourself. Make sure that your systems are in place. Make sure that your whole strategy on taking care of the books is in place, that people know what they need to do in order to support you so that you in turn can support the business owner. Set up and maintain your filing system for easy retrieval. Now, this one also should seem like common sense, but be surprised at how often it isn't and how often we as bookkeepers have seen filing systems that are an absolute disaster. One of the things that you need to be aware of is that it's all about retrieving information down the road if you should happen to need to back up whatever it is you're doing, to supply paperwork for refunds and such, warranty issues, you name it. But probably the biggest one in this regard is when it comes to an audit. Government auditors will come in and audit the business for any one of a number of reasons. If you don't think it's going to happen, you consider that most businesses will see an audit at some point in time, and it may happen for various reasons that may be the fault of the business or not. But when that happens, the auditor will be looking for paperwork to back up the postings in the books, and you need to be able to find that in short order. It doesn't matter whether you're filing your paperwork by month or by vendor or customer or what have you, but it needs to be done and it needs to be consistent so that at the end of the game you can retrieve this paperwork efficiently when you need to. Stay current and know what you're doing. Again, should seem like a fairly straightforward practice for anybody that's in bookkeeping, but regardless, you need to stay current on not only bookkeeping practices, but on government legislation as well. Apparently, there's no excuse for not knowing what the legislation's all about and for not staying current on it, and if you're in violation of any of this in terms of the bookkeeping, you could be called to task on it, and that's not going to do the business owner any good. There could be penalties and interest involved, and that's something that you don't want to have fall into your lap as being part of your problem when it comes to dealing with this sort of thing. You need to stay current. You need to be up to speed on the things that you need to know for your part of the business, which is the bookkeeping. Defend your postings and back it up with paperwork. Once again, it goes back to audits for sure, when you need to be able to back up why you posted things with the paperwork and that you can prove that these are legitimate revenues and expenses and whatever. But it also involves taking care of why you posted things in the accounts that you did. In other words, why did you
post different transactions into different accounts and your rationale behind it. You should be able to defend it. It shouldn't be very hard, especially if you're at the top of your game and you're current in your knowledge and your skills and your practices and government legislation and all that sort of thing. You should be able to defend that, and in doing so, that helps the business owner as well, because the owner then knows that it's done right, and that'll translate to the accountant and whoever else is interested in the numbers down the road. Present bills and other documents to the owner in a timely fashion. Now, this one is also something that you should take to heart as well. Sitting on paperwork for whatever reason is not the thing. You need to make sure that the owner is aware of what's going on from the administration and bookkeeping end of their business so that they can react to that. They may be wrapped up in other parts of the business or other facets of the business and don't always have the time to look at it. If there's something of importance that the business owner should be aware of, you need to bring it to his or her attention at the earliest opportunity. So make sure that you do this in a timely fashion. Keep the owner up to speed on cash flow and pending cash flow issues. Now, for a lot of businesses, it's all about cash flow, especially new businesses or businesses that are cash intensive or cash flow intensive. Not keeping on top of this could mean that bills don't get paid on time, or any one of a number of things that can happen. There isn't money for payroll or anything of that nature. You want to make sure that you stay on top of cash flow, because that's what you're in a position to see at any given time, and that you make the owner aware of any issues that are up and coming that could spell disaster if not addressed quickly. Warn the owner of upcoming issues and concerns. Again, you're in a unique position to see what's happening because you basically have your fingers on the pulse of the entire business through the bookkeeping. And when things happen or things are about to happen that you can see, you need to bring that to the owner's attention. That's called watching his or her back. And again, that's something that you can really do to support the business owner. Present reports to the owner on a regular basis. This is an interesting one in that oftentimes I've heard owners express that they're really not that terribly interested in the reports. They just need to know that the books are being done and that everything is on the up and up when it comes to satisfying government requirements. Well, realistically, they should be interested in the numbers because they can see where the business is going or how it's doing, and then make plans to improve things as the situations arise and as the need arises. So here's an interesting thing you might want to try. Print out some reports or generate some reports and send it to the business owner. Again, you want to make sure confidentiality is maintained, but give it to them anyways. It's like sitting at a campfire. You can't help but look at the flames. And if the business owner sees reports that deals with their business, especially comparative reports so they can see whether the business is going in the right direction or the wrong direction or stagnating, they can't help but look at it. And eventually you'll find that they will be asking you for these reports on a regular basis, again, as current as they can be, and that they will start to come back at you with questions as to why things have happened. And if you've done your job properly, you should be able to help them with that or to answer those questions very readily, because you can just drill down into the books to find out why transactions occurred and where the money went or where the money's come from. Regardless, present these reports to the owners anyways. You'll be glad you did, and it will help them to run their business and to stay on top of their business. And last but not least, make sure you work with your owner's professionals as the need arises. This would include people like the accountant, the lawyer, business advisor, etc. And it could also include customers, vendors, shareholders and partners, anyone that the owner deems it necessary for you to deal with, because again, you're the one that basically tracks all the money coming and going. And as a result, you are directly involved in a lot of the business of the company. It's just a matter of making sure that you work with these people so that as a team, you can all make sure that the owner is taken care of and that you've got his or her back.
There you have it. Positive things you can and should be doing to support the business owner. Never underestimate the importance of what it is you're doing. It is very important. Hopefully the business owner will see it that way as well and appreciate you for what you do. All the very best in your bookkeeping adventures. For Fiscal Integrity Group, I'm Herb Holst. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.